Hello there, how's it going? This is my 22nd recording of the book Atomic Habit, and in this one, we will continue talking about chapter 11, Walk Slowly but Never Backwards. The idea of this chapter is to actually start doing the habit that we want to perform instead of studying about it. So, for example, when you are reading a book like Atomic Habits, you are not really improving your life. You are thinking about improving your life, but you are not improving your life. So, the best way to actually improve your life is to actually do something. It doesn't matter how small action you take, as long as it is some action. It's better than just reading one book or hundreds of books. Books or planning will not bring results. And we talked about motion versus action. That's the words he gave it to these ideas. Motion is the planning, action is actually doing. When you are in motion, you are planning and strategizing and learning. Those are all good things. Yeah, it's not bad, but you need to consider that those things will not produce result. But they don't produce a result. If you want to get in good shape, now reading books about it, watching videos about it, finding gyms on where you want to work out, all those things are motion. They don't produce a result. Now, we will start on this section. How long does it take to form a new habit? One of my favorite sections, in fact. Wow, see how much I have written. So let's read it. Habit formation is the process by which a behavior becomes progressively more automatic through repetition. The more you repeat an activity, the more the structure of your brain changes to become efficient at that activity. Neuroscientists call this long-term potentiation, which refers to the strengthening of connections between neurons in the brain based on recent patterns of activity. With each repetition, cell to cell signaling improves and the neural connection tightens. This phenomenon is commonly known as the Hab's law. Neurons that fire together wire together. Very powerful idea. I love this part. Neurons that fire together wire together. I think this is where the idea that habits are double-edged sword comes from. Whatever you do, your brain will become efficient at that. Neurons that fire together wire together. Repeating a habit leads to clear physical changes in the brain, like the muscles of the body responding to regular weight training. Particular regions of the brain adapt as they are used and atrophy as they are abandoned. Wow, very good. So it's not just that brain gets stronger when you use it, but it gets weak. It becomes weak when you don't use it, just like bodybuilding. In 1860, the English philosopher George H. Lewis noted, in learning to speak a new language, to play on a musical instrument, or to perform unaccustomed movements, great difficulty is felt because the channels through which each sensation has to pass have not become established. But no sooner has frequent repetition cut a pathway than this difficulty vanishes. The actions become so automatic that they can be performed while the mind is otherwise engaged. Both common sense and scientific evidence agree. Repetition is a form of change. Very powerful idea. The only way to improve is through repetition. Each time you repeat an action, you are activating a particular neural circuit associated with that habit. This means that simply putting in your reps is one of the most critical steps you can take to encoding a new habit. Wow. All habits follow a similar trajectory from effortful practice to automatic behavior, a process known as automaticity. How do I say it? Automaticity. Automaticity is the ability to perform a behavior without thinking about each step, which occurs when the non conscious mind takes over. Habits form based on frequency, not time. There is nothing magical about time passing with regards to habit formation. It doesn't matter if it's been 21 days or 30 days or 300 days. What matters is the rate at which you perform the behavior. You could do something twice in 30 days or 200 times. It's the frequency that makes the difference. Your current habits have been internalized over the course of hundreds, if not thousands, of repetitions. New habits require the same level of frequency. You need to string together enough successful attempts until the behavior is firmly embedded in your mind and you cross the habit line. So, habit line is when your behavior becomes easy. Uh, your behavior becomes how do I describe habit line? Habit line is when your behavior reaches a point where it doesn't get any more easier, right? So for example, going to the gym, it will become easier, but it will not become very easy. There will still be some difficulty with it, but habit line is the idea that when you repeat it, there will be a plateau, a level where which the behavior will stop getting easier. And until you cross that, you will need to keep repeating. You need to string together enough successful attempts until the behavior is firmly embedded in your mind and you cross the habit line. In practice, it doesn't really matter how long it takes for a habit to become automatic. What matters is that you take the actions you need to take to make progress. Whether an action is fully automatic is of less importance. Yeah, so he's telling that stop thinking about when habit will be formed, rather take action on making the habit. It doesn't matter how long it takes as long as you are putting in your reps. To build a habit, you need to practice it, and the most effective way to practice and the most effective way to make practice happen is to adhere to the third law of behavior change. Make it easy. The chapters that follow will show you how to do exactly that. Yeah, so he's setting the foundation for the upcoming chapters. He doesn't give you any strategy in this one on how to make your behavior easy, but one way to make it easy is to actually do it. But how do we do it? He doesn't talk about that. So it will never become easier if you keep thinking about it, right? Jim Rohn says time doesn't change, only you change. So a new behavior will never become easier on its own if you let time pass by, because the only way to make a behavior easier is to change your brain, and the brain only changes when you do it. So here he's saying, as Voltaire once wrote, the best is the enemy of good. So you can never become best until you start from good or less than good. Chapter summary. The third law of behavior change is make it easy. The most effective form of learning is practice, not planning. Focus on taking action, not being in motion. The amount of time you have been performing a habit is not as important as the number of times you have performed it. Very powerful idea. So don't measure your success with the amount of time that has been passed. Measure it with how much work you have put in. I think this is it for chapter 11. And in the next one, we will talk about chapter 12, the law of least effort. This one is very similar to the law of least effort is extremely similar to chapter 6. Motivation is overrated, environment often matters more. However, we'll talk about it in the next video. Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to it.